Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Chosen Scoop. As this is a new kind of podcast, a new kind of communication to all of our followers and the industries that we serve at large. Today, I'm interviewing literally one of my best friends on planet Earth, not just a business partner, but one of my best friends, and it's Chris Weiss, the owner and publisher of Chauffeur Driven magazine, and also they've recently acquired their competitor, LCT Magazine. And I'm excited to interview you, Chris. Thanks for taking the time. I know you don't do this a lot with many people, but just kind of stop there and let I could say a ton of good things about you, but if I missed any titles, and I know you're in Premier Parts and Chauffeur Driven, but what else am I missing on who you are?
No, I mean, I think on the business side, I think you got it. And thank you for having me on and, for doing this interview. Beyond that, a father, an artist, a photographer, a lover of life, all the above.
Yeah, so I think for people that don't know you, you started in the limousine trade show and magazine space. 25 years ago?
30 years ago, 29 years ago, it was the first issue we produced was June of 91. So we're approaching 30 years.
Were you
Old.
13 years old?
Good genetics from mom.
Chris looks good. Yeah, so Chris was there for a very long time, and then him and his partner Eric decided to, I guess, veer off and start Chauffeur Driven. Just really me being a business guy that started and I failed. I've done well, and I think anytime we start a business, there's an inherent 90% chance you're going to fail. So I think you guys took a big stretch of faith and confidence in yourself, and not really knowing what to do, especially given LCT was a very strong brand at that point, and you guys were just starting on your own. LCT had a lot of loyal followers for the things that they did good over the years, and so that was when you spun off and started Chauffeur Driven with Eric and with, I believe, Sharon. How long? How has that been? 7 years or?
No, it's eight at this point. It was the very end of 2012. We launched in the beginning of 2013, and yeah, it was certainly a risky move, a calculated risk, but a risky move nonetheless. And the space was crowded at the time, but we were confident in our convictions, and it's relationships mean a lot, and support from the industry over decades had a huge impact on our ability to have success with this. And I can't say enough about that. Friends and relationships mean everything.
Yeah, and as I told you before we started this, I don't even have a script. I just was going to go wherever we go, and I think whoever's going to watch this and listen to this, I think it's huge to know. Doesn't matter what business we're in. If we're businessmen and women, like loyalty, relationships, following your word, doing the right thing, you're always going to come up on top. Like the cream will always rise to the top, and yeah, like you couldn't have said that better, because it's a dicey move, it's a calculated move, but at the end of the day, as smart as you are and as smart as Eric is, and as much money as Bill Gates may have, like you can't be successful without like people and people following you and believing in you. And I think it's something that we're older in life now. I'm going to bring it back to this. Like I talk about this all the time with in my own personal growth coaches and stuff like that. Like we get a chance to choose who we have in our life these days. When we're younger, we're just trying to be popular, we're playing sports or whatever, but we get a chance to choose who we like to make a part of our life. And I think something that's bonded me and you so much together is like we both are cut from the same cloth when it comes to like being men of our words, being loyal, being honorable to those within your circle, delivering
Straight up.
straight up, no bullshit. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's I didn't know you prior to that, but I knew you right when it started, and I'll talk about the very first time I actually met you. But
I
it's
remember.
like it's crazy to think though that yeah, what you did in your past life made you successful today. Doesn't matter what brand you're under; people follow you because you deliver your promise. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. No, I feel like I always took the high road, and always carried myself, for the long game, and never burned bridges, and valued relationships, over the long haul, and all the above, and just put just a huge stock in the friendships and relationships, because that is, that's what we, that's how we were able to have success, was that support and people believing in us. And we proved it over X amount of time, but
Yep,
that doesn't matter when you're starting fresh again. You're going from square one, and, having that instant support, right out of the gate was essential.
for sure. It's something you've taught me via friendship, but you've helped me like in business. You've definitely been a mentor to me with regards to the limo industry. But some certain when you become friends with someone, you care about them, you shoot them straight. And so no doubt, I'm an extremely aggressive. Like I forget about the long game sometimes, and I get emotional about things just because I'm passionate. I mean,
You're passionate. It's the
yeah.
passion for sure.
But there's been a lot of times in our friendship where I've come to you with things, and my initial reaction is like, "Fuck this, da, 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 we gotta change this," and you're just like, "Bro, I get it, but the cars will fall right. Slow down." So that goes to show, you practice your own advice as well, because you were patient with this stuff, and you have all I've watched you be non-emotional with business, and people like me that are really crazy type A. We're probably going to be successful just because we're aggressive. We don't take no for answer, and we're so passionate. But then there's there's other ways to be successful as well, of being more calculated and play for the long game. And so yeah, I mean, I think you definitely did that with Chauffeur Driven. Absolutely, you did that with now the acquisition of LCT. I mean, there's no secret in our industry that there was a potential bloodbath for some times, and people spouting this and that. And I never saw you, even though it enraged me as your friend, and I would pick up the phone and be like, "Did you see what they said?" And da, 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 like, you still never went out there and like something that still may disagree with, because I wanted you to defend yourself more, but you just never did. And then guess what? Like, as soon as you were legally allowed to tell me, I was bummed out because I'm like one of your best friends and I didn't know about it the whole time. But as soon as you were legally allowed to tell me, I think I was, definitely one of the top
You,
five people you told.
yeah, I think, top two, really.
Yeah. And the way you told after we had a conversation, I was like, "I'm so proud of you, brother. Like, you did the right thing. This is awesome." And then you followed up with a text being like, "Who would have thought, 8 years ago, I met you at the bar at an LCT show in Vegas. I knew who you were. You knew who I was. You were just starting this Chauffeur Driven, thing. To me, I was like the new kid on the block, but I liked your passion. You were over there talking to one of the LCT staffers, kind of could have gone aggressive. It definitely could have. He thought it was going to be. You
I
didn't. You calmed
remember.
down. And then fast forward, you guys own the brand. So, I mean, again, I think anyone listening, I always want to give lessons and learn lessons on any of these interviews that we do. I think playing a long game is huge. I think being less emotional and calculated is big. And I think relationships and loyalty and friendships are freaking huge. So to fast forward, I mean, share as much or as little, and we don't have to talk too much about it because we talk forever, but about the LCT kind of acquisition.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, for a number of years, people were getting frustrated with, too many events and too much going on, too many voices, and we knew it. And we weren't in control of the situation because we were doing our thing and they were doing their thing, and we tried to work, together and minimize stuff. But at the end of the day, we're competitors, and it just, wasn't really set up to work that way. And, we ended up about a year and a half ago partnering with the NLA, and we then decided to, bring the show to Vegas, and it created a real, head-to-head situation. And with, us being in Vegas about a week apart from LCT, and us having, a tremendous amount of success with the event, I feel like
You're being
they
very humble for sure, but it's okay. Your event, blew the other event out of the water. It totally did, and that's nothing against LCT, but it's just people wanted new stuff and new things, and there was a change of ownership at LCT, and luckily you guys staying strong, and loyal, and continuing to deliver what you want. But yeah, you're always the humble guy, but it definitely you blew it out of the water, and that scared them, I'm sure.
Yeah, it did. And so, just a few weeks after the show, I mean, we had the show in late February, and now we're talking, barely the middle of March. Their leadership reached out to Eric and I, and, we're very real about it. And basically said, you guys kicked our ass, and we're looking to move out of the space, and out of respect and courtesy, we're coming to you guys first to see if that's something you might have interest in, and of course we did, and it took a little bit of time, like like with any deal, to kind of iron it out and get to the finish line. But we knew in mid-March, even though we didn't announce it to June, we knew in mid-March that we were going to move ahead with something. It was just a matter of the finer details and everything. And it's surrealistic. I mean, I've been competing, with LCT for 3 decades. When we, started Limo Digest back in the early '90s, LCT, which was Limousine and Chauffeur at the time, was the model that we, based ourselves off of. And, that was the initial inspiration while we were learning to, publish a magazine and produce events. And, so for all these years later to have the opportunity to acquire them, and it still hasn't fully sunk in.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think something I picked up on right now, as you're saying it, is like, had you had played the fight blood with blood battle when specific people may have been, trying to attack Chauffeur Driven for any reason possible because they were LCT supporters, which is what it is. There's, the Republicans and Democrats. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on in the world. There's always going to be two sides. But you guys did not react when most people would. I bet you that's one of the reasons why they came to you first, is because had you had really jumped in the ring with them, maybe they wouldn't have had any respect for you. But they did. They had respect for you. And obviously, I think everybody, including you and I have mad respect for Ty Bobbitt, who started, LCT. And Ty sold. Ty had a long-lived career of Bobbitt, and Bobbitt owned a bunch of other magazines. And I think when anytime you deal with private equity or venture capital, they're about the bottom line and the P&L, and about leveraging, what they can and getting rid of what they can't. And when Ty was out of the picture, and then potentially Sarah out of the picture, and it's just like the loyalty fell, and you guys were right there, and it couldn't have happened to better two people, that's for sure. And it's even better, to think, I don't want to say better, but you beat them and then bought them. You didn't just beat them and make them go away. You beat them and then bought them, which is pretty freaking cool. Would you say, I've never asked you this even as a friend, so if you don't want to answer it, it's fine, but is the LCT brand going to survive, or is it just going to be rolled up under Chauffeur Driven?
It's going to be rolled up under Chauffeur Driven, and probably within the next 30 to 60 days, we'll completely sunset it. We don't even want confusion. I mean, it was a strong brand. It had a certain amount of loyalty to it, but the whole play was a consolidation play. I mean, we obviously did it for ourselves and for our business, but we did it for the industry at large. People like yourself, every vendor under the sun didn't want to have to go to multiple events and spend twice the money they needed to spend. Operators didn't want to be away from their businesses, more than they needed to be. And it was just overcrowded. So when that opportunity arose, we felt like, yeah, this is great for us and for Chauffeur Driven, but this is also a great play for the industry. And so many people, including yourself, literally said, "Thank you for saving me money," because
Right.
this is right to the bottom line. And we were happy to do it. And it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
And to go back on what you were saying about Ty earlier, I honestly don't think that if Ty didn't sell the company, that all of these things would have played out the way that they did. Maybe, but I probably not.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, no offense against Gemspring or whatever it's called that bought it, but I think at the end of the day, every single person in this, like, call it year and a half or 2 year history of Ty selling to you guys acquiring, won, except for maybe Gemspring. I mean, I won as a vendor. I get to save money. I get to consolidate my time, my energy, my efforts to reach the same exact audience. The NLA won. Chauffeur Driven won. The operators won. Ty won. So I think it was a good thing, and the right things happened. So yeah. So I think from a personal perspective, to move past that, from a personal perspective, super proud of you as your friend, because I know that. Well, it's funny, during COVID, people are either like gaining weight and becoming alcoholics, or like getting really healthy and stop drinking so much. I think the people that are on the road a lot, like you and I, it's really hard to like take care of ourselves. Like, even though it's important as we get older, we really want to take care of ourselves. It's fucking hard when you're on a show floor till 8 p.m. and then you got to wine and dine your clients, or be wine and dine, and then you got to stay out at the after hours parties till 3 in the morning, and then you got to get up again at 7 a.m. to eat well and do all that. But something that I know you're super proud of and passionate about is, I mean, you've dropped some pounds during this time, and you've taken this time to, I always say people can, I think I said this in the last podcast I did, but you can kind of be a victim or a survivor in any time there's adversity. And a lot of people just look at like the COVID situation or any situation. There's like, there's like sad and, oh my gosh, my world's falling apart. But then there's certain people that are just like, you know what, throw it my way. I'm going to overcome it, and I'm going to make something good out of this. And so I think, I'm proud. What weight wise, you're eating healthy and you're down a lot of weight. Not that you ever had like you were obese, but I knew it bothered you as your friend. So where'd you start and where are you at?
Yeah. So, I started, trying to lose weight, probably like 8, 9 months ago, and was just dieting, wasn't really working out, just watching what I was eating and, portion control. And, I dropped probably about 20 pounds, which, made a difference. And, was maintaining that and keeping it off, and it was great and it felt good. And but once there, everyone was in lockdown and stuck at home. And I was just fortunate to have my weights and my bench. And I always worked out at home. I never was really much of a gym person. Always did like P90X and Body Beast videos. And I just dusted off my weights, dusted off my bench, and just said, April 1st, I'm going all in. And since April 1st, I've worked out 6 days a week, very religiously, dropped another 20 pounds, built a lot of muscle, feel like I'm in as good a shape as I've been in, probably 20, 30 years. Um, just, and I'm still on the mission. I mean, I haven't reached my goals, and I'm still going. And yeah, it feels really good.
Message for people that, um, are choosing to drink COVID away. What message do you have, to reinvest in yourself?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I like. For the first few weeks, so, from the middle of March to the end of March, when we were on lockdown and all of this was brand new, I wasn't working out, and, I wasn't necessarily gaining weight, but I was just, kind of like most people, just laying around, kind of waiting for things to happen. Just unsure, living in uncertainty and such. And I just said, I'm going to work out. And every day that I would, you know, I'd be laying there and I'd say, or sitting there, or just, whatever, wasting time, say, I should just be working out. Like, what else am I kept on, my motto was, what else could I be doing? What else should I, working out? And so, and I'd be you know, in the beginning when you start working out and, tossing around weights, you don't have that, that stamina, and it just gets tiring quick. And I'd say, all right, well, I'm going to throw in the towel for the day. And then I'd stop for a second and say, what the hell else am I going to do? I got nothing
Right.
better to do. Let me just continue working out and push myself through it. And now I've gotten to that point where, yeah, I'm going to still remind myself, hey, the alternative is just sitting around, so you might as well do something. But I've built up that stamina a little bit more now.
How do you integrate, once things do, get back to normal? How do you integrate what you learned in the downtime to honor yourself, when we're back on the road? I don't know if we'll ever be back on the road as much as we were, at least specific to this industry, the luxury transportation industry. But yeah, how do you integrate, eating well and getting a workout in and whatnot once you do have other things to do?
I think like only when it comes to eating, it's portion for me. It's just portion control, and I've adapted to that and have kind of changed my lifestyle there. Don't really go off the path too often, here and there like anyone else, but not often enough that I worry about it. It's the working out that I'm going to have to continue to make time for and just build it into my schedule. I think I'll be able to do it. I do it at a certain time, which is like early evening, late afternoon, and that time will still exist. It's not like I'm doing working out at like 11 or 12 in the afternoon. That so when things go back, I won't have that opportunity. usually it's later, 4 or 5 o'clock, even 6 o'clock. And so I just have to change my schedule around a little bit to adapt for that. And um, when I'm traveling, it's I'm just gonna have to adapt and work out in the gyms that are at the hotels and such. And I won't be as certainly I won't be doing the same things that I would be doing at home, but if I can just maintain,
It's a
I'll be
mindset,
fine.
right? It's your
Yeah,
mindset.
it
You
is.
know,
It is.
you know what it's like now, to get to where you wanted to be and to feel healthier. And I think you said, you still have some way to go, but I think when you're someone positive mindset like you or I, and you don't really like to fail, I think you're kind of like, well, shit, if I don't do this, then this is the outcome. You know what you don't want, so you're gonna do what you want, type thing. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know that if I don't work out, then slowly but surely weight's going to come back on, and I won't fit into the clothes that I want to fit into, and it's and I won't feel as healthy. It's like you said, I wasn't huge, but 40 pounds is a nice chunk of weight. I mean, carry around 2 20-pound dumbbells all day long, and
right.
it'll tire you out. And so I was feeling, I'm just over 50, so I was feeling little effects with carrying a little excess weight, and none of that now. I mean, it's like I feel super healthy, and it has somehow, some way helped my golf game.
I was just gonna go to that. I was gonna say, so I know you, as a friend, that golf is super important to you, and I was gonna bring that up because I know that, Jay, your is Jay doing it? Is your oldest doing getting into golf?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, my youngest son, he's my 12-year-old.
Jay, your youngest, yeah. So, yeah. So I was gonna say, did losing weight help your golf game? I mean, I'm still super amateur, but I've got out there and swung with Chris, 5, 10, 15, 20 times, whatever. But Chris is a pretty solid golfer. But so losing weight has helped your golf game, huh?
Yeah, I don't have as much of a belly to get through when I'm swinging, but no, more so was the strength. Like, you don't if you have more strength, you don't have to swing as hard, you don't have to try as hard, and believe it or not, also just some great advice from Bill Faith, who was a golf pro at one point in his life. Just gave me some perspective, as well as one of my, the guy who taught me how to play golf gave me some perspective, and the two nuggets of advice that they gave me, both that combined with having a little bit more, strength, a little less weight, has really. I mean, I'm playing better than I've played in a decade.
It's
It's
awesome.
nice. I mean, I've a couple of rounds in the 80s recently, which I haven't busted 90 in, like I said, a decade. So it feels good, and I
And
feel like I've got some room to grow with it too.
I think, I think mentally you're in a better place too because you're not distracted with all the things. So golf's a mental game. I'm the first to know that. I mean, I get one email when we're sitting at a charity golf tournament with you, and like my whole game goes because and
It's
then I'm on
over.
a call trying to do something. It's over. So talk about getting. So you got, obviously, this time, one of the best things about Corona, at least COVID, the people that have good family and friends bonds, is that you got to spend a lot of time with your children.
Mhm.
Firsthand, I know that, and I'm so grateful for that. But I know that we talk, and I see via social that you're super proud of some of the things that your kids are doing, and I guess getting Jay into golf, and Jay's, what you said, 10? Jay 10?
No, he's 12. He'll be 13 in October.
Oh, bar mitzvah time.
Yeah. I mean, they're just starting the training.
Yeah.
Because Jay has a twin sister too.
Yep, right. So, but to see Jay out there, probably got to make your heart happy because it's one of your passions. And then, he's what, a year or two away from being out there, like truly doing 18 holes with you.
Yeah, building my golf partner for the next few decades.
Yeah. No,
And
no better than our siblings, than our children. That's for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
the guy who taught me golf, who I was mentioning a little bit earlier, when I first started playing, I used to play with him and his father a lot, and it just meant everything. The relationship that they had, and the amount of time they got to spend on the course, and he since passed away, his father, but it just gave me something to strive for. I was like, I want that. I want to have that relationship with my son.
I'm jealous of that for sure. Yeah. I mean, thinking of me and my dad have a great bond, as you know. I mean, but
Mhm.
you know, outside of fishing, which I'm not like crazy passionate about, my dad is, but yeah, I don't have anything. So that's good little nugget of advice. So find a hobby, a passion that you can connect with your child with. I mean, now I have faith, and she's 6 years old. I'm thinking about something. I started taking her ice skating, and she was like kind of a natural. And I played hockey my whole life, so maybe that'll be our thing. Maybe she'll be a chick hockey star. Who knows? But yeah, I think the wisdom, the nugget I'm getting is like it'd be cool to have a passion that you can share with your child, because then you're getting all the things in under one roof. You're bonding and really enjoying something that you love doing. Um, Something I'm gonna throw out there, because someone asked me this recently in a podcast that I was being interviewed on, is what's something that we don't know about you? What's something that you could share that you think that like maybe I know, most people don't know about you? Something whatever, anything.
Oh boy. Um, I think most people don't realize how artistic I am. I mean, they know that I, do photography and that, I have a knack for that, but I don't think most people realize that I can paint, I can draw. I was, genetically predisposed to be an artist. I went to art school, I was an art major, and it's just you know, a huge passion. And, so
Yeah.
that always throws people off when I draw something
Right.
or whatever, something along
I
those
think
lines.
one of the things you did good. It's funny because I was, as your friend and also like trying to give you business advice, I was like telling you forever, like, Chris, you're missing the boat not being on social media, on Facebook and da da da. And then Chris finally broke it and he went on Facebook, and during COVID, I think you lifted a lot of people's spirits with like you're an avid photographer and traveler, and I know, I mean, firsthand, I'm with you all the time when we do stuff, but you just started posting these pictures, and I would just see the comments were just crazy. And you lifted people's spirits because you gave them some history of beauty within your photography, and then it gave you some pride, probably, and proud of the fact that you can actually do that for people during COVID. People were depressed to a certain extent, and you're bringing them light at the end of their day. So, oh, that's cool. That is good. And then I've been to your house and I've seen the photography around your house that you've actually taken. It's like, shit, I'd buy that at some high end art studio in Wall Street or something.
Yeah, certainly when I posting photos throughout this whole thing, people would say that it was inspiring and they would thank me. And I didn't realize that, I was just trying to distract people really more than anything else. But, I did get a ton of great feedback on it. And even when I thought, am I posting too much? And then, people would say positive things like, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. And so, yeah, I had that mindset of just trying to distract people.
And having this conversation too, obviously I knew that about you, but I didn't think of it as like a dirty secret, if you will. Not as dirty, but what most people don't know. I think we have other dirty secrets in the CJD clan, but besides that, no. I think being artistic has also made you successful, because what you do in publishing a magazine and putting on a trade show, there's art in that. There's
For
logistical art,
sure.
and even just making things happen in time, and making sure the article looks right in the magazine, or the placement of the stage is right for the keynote. And so, yeah, I think that's cool though, because you're a business guy. You own if we had to label it, you own a marketing company. I mean, you're not really marketing, but when you put on an events and marketing and publication company, it's like journalism, marketing combined. But I'm really an artist at heart, and
I mean, that's how I look at myself more so than a business person. But I'm very blessed and fortunate to have that business acumen and have had some success, and then also can flip the switch and look at things from a creative perspective, and which for events and for publishing and a lot of the stuff that we do, it's good to wear both hats and look at it from a business person in the financials, but then also turn that hat around and just look at it from the standpoint of just being a creative soul.
Yep, yep, yep. Side note, I have to say, because we're both sitting, as you can see behind me, I have my chosen payments chair, and then Chris
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the chauffeur chair. So something that people might not know is Chris and Eric, and I'm not sure if you have other partners in that company, but Premier Parts that does they are the manufacturer of a lot of parts that get put into, I think, buses and other vehicles. I'll let you say if I'm wrong, but one of the things that they also do is obviously they create seats for the buses. Well, Chris and Eric every year at definitely the Limousine Association of New Jersey auction, and probably your guys' auction now at the
Yeah, our
Chauffeur.
auction too.
You've been donating these custom built and branded chairs, and it's always one of the highest bidded options because these things are sweet. I mean, they're
Yeah, they're
leather,
dope chairs. They are.
back. Like anyone that comes to my conference room, I have one in my that I'm sitting in my actual office, but my whole conference room has them. I bought them 2 years. I bought them for 2 different years over the past many years. They're worth every bang for their buck. But you know what? I mean, does Premier? Well, did I hit it with Premier, or does Premier do other stuff?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, so my business partner Eric runs Premier, and yeah, so I mean, our bread and butter is the seats and also window glass, and we manufacture air conditioning systems, and it's not only for this industry, the chauffeur transportation industry, and the bus and van manufacturers and the like, but we're also real heavy in the RV industry and recreational vehicles, and that has been extremely helpful through COVID.
Yeah.
We diversified, Eric, give him all the credit. Eric diversified the company, within the last few years, certainly pre-COVID. And that move turned out to be, massively important when this all hit. And, it really enabled us to, keep things going on that side of the business and going strong.
Yeah, that's huge. He foreshadowed it somehow, but saw it before it was happening. Well, not really. Just saw it like any good business person, diversify. And then one of the big things that not just alcohol sales or e-commerce stuff, but RV business is booming. And I'm fortunate too because we have about I want to say a couple hundred RV parks across the nation that process credit cards through us. So while my hotel sales are down, my limo sales are down, my restaurant sales are down, my gun merchants are up, my liquor store merchants are up, and my RV merchants are up. My online sporting goods stores are up. But yeah, I could relate to the RV thing. So, but anyone listening that loves these kind of branded chairs, hit up Premier Parts. I mean, this wasn't a plug, but it is. But Premier Parts will do it. It's not their main business, but for the bang for the buck, you go out. These are $15,000 chairs. They're not going to spend you that much. Not going to cost you that much money.
We're actually in the process of launching, putting more emphasis on the office chairs and launching a very specific division of Premier that is all centered around selling conference chairs and really dope office chairs.
I
So
love that.
that's, we're building the site right now. It's got some sleek branding. We brought in an outside company to help us kind of get that off the ground, and it won't. I mean, that's it. We're right at the edge of that. Launching big. I mean, we've been doing it for years, but
Yeah,
it was just kind of like I wouldn't say a side gig. It was just one of the things that we did, and now we're putting a lot more focus into it.
that's good though. That's
Yeah.
good. Let me know we need a credit card processor for it.
Yeah. Well,
We're already there.
yeah.
All right. In closing, so since probably our biggest audience of this stuff because of you're a celebrity in the limo industry and the luxury transportation industry, just
Celebrity.
yeah, so got that celebrity status. We might not recognize you now down 40 though. Um, one piece of advice to the small, medium, large, all one piece of advice to limo operators across the country right now in general. Just if you could leave them with one piece of advice of whether it's COVID related or not, but just, I think everybody's sitting back hoping the thing's going to pass, but a lot of people don't have the answers. Not to say, you're going to rub your head and have the best answer, but you've been in this game a long time. You have a different outlook. So yeah, what's the one thing we could leave everybody with that's in the luxury ground transportation space?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like just staying positive has a huge, effect, and positive energy and not feeling sorry for yourself, keeping active and realizing that despite what's going on right now and all the suffering from all the businesses that are tied to this industry and hospitality and corporate travel, it will all of those things will come back. Events aren't disappearing, corporate travel isn't disappearing, concerts and sporting events, eventually, whether it's through a vaccine or whatever, whether it's 6 months from now or a year and a half from now, all of those things will come back strong. And those who keep themselves in a position to stay positive and still be in business essentially by not being stupid with their cash and, just making sure that they're looking at every single solitary penny that they spend, for the long haul. And if they can survive that and stay positive and not feel sorry for themselves, then when things do come around, it has the potential to be even better.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that there are going to be casualties from this, and we are going to lose, a fair shake of companies. And when the business comes back, there'll be fewer companies and more opportunity for those that weathered this and remain positive and, in some cases reinvented themselves a little bit to get through this. But it's just the positive mindset and really looking at every single penny would be the two things.
I think it comes full circle. Lean down, right? Chris has leaned down his personal life, saying lean down your business, which I couldn't agree with more. Lean down your business to where you're not having just a waste of any sort of expenses. Don't over leverage yourself, and stay positive, just like Chris is staying positive about his health and wellness. Stay positive that when it turns, instead of having if you learn how to operate your business at a much leaner, out of pocket, operating cost cash flow monthly against your cash flow monthly, when things turn around, instead of having a 10% margin, you might have an 18% margin. So I couldn't agree more with Chris, as well. And I hope that, we're gonna wrap this thing up. I hope that this interview has been fun for you, Chris. I mean,
Yeah, of course. Talking to you, man.
Yeah,
Of
I
course.
get to see my boy. I haven't seen you. I mean, I actually
I
haven't seen.
know. I've been living through you a little bit, because you're doing a little bit of traveling. I haven't really done much, and I'm living a little vicariously.
For
You're
sure.
doing it.
Well, love you, brother.
Love you too.
I'm glad we got to do this, and I hope that everybody watching enjoyed our interview, and everyone stays safe. And look forward to connecting with everyone once this thing has surpassed, and we can get back to a Chauffeur Driven trade show. Thanks,
See you
everybody.
next, brother.